Hello again, everyone. We got some exciting news coming up. We've got, looks like Ben Foster will be or could potentially be re-signing for Wrexham. Now we've been hearing from various sources it's going to be a 1-year deal with the option for a further year. Obviously there has been some delay in terms of him signing for Wrexham. There was obviously some speculation as to why that would be, if he was contemplating it, considering it is a difficult decision for him, considering he had retired and he'd be out of the game and he's got a lot of ongoing work outside of football really. But it seems like it'll be likely what happened is he'll be signing for Wrexham after playing for Soccer Aid 11, which should be taking place in the next few days. So Soccer Aid is taking place on the 11th of June, so this upcoming Sunday, and it's involving former players like Roberto Carlos, Paul Scholes, Gary Neville, Gary Cahill, and then there's also it's got a few people who obviously were not professional footballers like Mo Farah, Danny Dyer. That's a good cause there, but going back to Ben Foster really. So apparently some sort of technical, legal or contract situation that means that he can't actually play in Soccer Aid if he's playing as a professional footballer. So yeah, he's sort of retired and came out of retirement for Wrexham and he's out of contract, so it's sort of a bit of a grey area. So we're thinking that he's probably not going to sign until next week. They might ask him at Soccer Aid. Most likely not, because that's not really, the attention shouldn't really be about him on that day. It's all about the charity. But yeah, I think we'll find out more about that next week. And considering, it's a bit of an interest when you think, well, would he stay? Would he not stay? Considering he's got, all these things going outside of football, and coming back to Wrexham for a couple of months is a little bit different to doing the full season. But it might be just the fact that he's had such a great time and he's really enjoyed it, and he wants to carry on and see what he can do for Wrexham, maybe get another promotion under his belt before he finally finishes. But considering he's got another option for another year on the contract, it would be interesting to see what happens to the likes of Howard and Leighton. I know Howard has got a good relationship with Foster, so that might not be too difficult, but maybe it might mean that Leighton might get moved on. You can have Foster, Howard and Leighton. It's a bit overkill really in terms of goalkeepers. They probably want to cut that down a little bit, but we'll wait and see on that. But before we move on to the next little bit of news, or rather speculation, obviously ask if you're new around here, could you please subscribe to the channel? I'd greatly appreciate that. So we've got some more speculation coming through that Wrexham might be linked to a new striker. This striker is Curtis Main, who's previously been with St Mirren, or rather his contract is set to expire at St Mirren. Doesn't score too many goals, but it doesn't seem like he'd probably be a Mullen replacement or equivalent. More like he'd play with Mullen, slightly probably like left field kind of thing. But you don't always have to have massive high profile players, and to be fair to Parkinson, it has been players you weren't really expecting to see him pick up. So that would be an interesting signing. I've heard some good things about Curtis Main, so obviously you could say Scottish football isn't the best quality, but then again, we've been playing at National League level and set to move up to League 2. So the level that he's been playing at is probably a bit better than what Wrexham have been playing at and are set to play in the next season. So Curtis Main has previously played for, before St Mirren, he was playing for Shrewsbury, Aberdeen, Motherwell, Portsmouth, Doncaster, Middlesbrough, and he started his career with Darlington. So probably, League 1 kind of level, so probably a good signing. Maybe he'll complement Palmer as well, because obviously Palmer was a big asset for ourselves, and obviously Palmer had some injury issues the second half, but he was still a very important signing for us. So if he complements Palmer and Mullen, there will be plenty of cup games coming through, so could be plenty of rotation. I'm not really expecting Wrexham to sign too many strikers. I know Parkinson has mentioned that he's not really looking at 5 or 6 signings, maybe 3 or 4, just to add to the overall team. And obviously there is a limit to how many players Wrexham can have in a match day squad, so he doesn't want to restrict himself too much in terms of in that area really. But yeah, it should be a bit interesting to see what happens. On the ending note, there's also some positive news for Jacob Mendy. So he's received his first international call for Gambia ahead of the African Cup of Nations qualifier in Egypt. So they'll be taking on South Sudan in their penultimate group stage game on the 14th of June. So at the moment they are on 6 points, level with Congo, only better on goals scored, leading third in the group. So it's a great thing to achieve for Jacob to be called up for his national team, and hopefully there might be more players from Wrexham get a call up. Who knows? Could be perhaps Mullen and could be called up sometime in the future for Wales. Wait and see it perhaps on that one, but that would be quite interesting. But we always used to have lots of young players, Wales and 21s coming through. You get call-ups for the Wales squad. Wales and 21, of course. It was great to see those different representatives, as well as the Wales and 21s. We used to have some players from Trinidad and Tobago, obviously Carse Edwards, Dennis Lawrence, and Hector Sam were those players who were from Trinidad and Tobago, and it'd be great if we could see more of that in the future. Thanks for taking the time to listen to this. If you're new around here, please subscribe. I'm sure we'll chat to you soon. Thanks. Goodbye.